Then went on to teach some of the sequences that I use, and this particular lady wants to look into it further. There was just this initial, it was like a mental block more, like why is using the voice going to help? How does it help? It was, almost like it was, it seemed so alien to her to use the voice. Yeah. To free up the blocks as such, she didn't really understand the idea of it, but she's going to come back.
That's great. Yeah. Using the voice is really powerful, and we'll come on to that in the next video. Yeah, but I think the irritation is an interesting one because I have one lady who had her teenage daughter. She was very sick, and she wanted to be in Mummy's bed. So Mum said, of course, she's in there. And it was the first night she'd come back and she got the Unity Code CD. So she's sitting there in bed, listening to it on headphones. And so her daughter's not able to hear it, even though she's in the bed, good headphones, insulating the sound. And, but immediately her mum started playing the frequencies. She was like, no, turn it off. And he had a very strong reaction. Now this is a teenager we're talking about. And then what happened, the next day, she was like, Mum, what are those frequencies? I really want to hear it. So it was a complete shift from very strong irritation to suddenly like really getting that it was something that was useful for her. And I thought to myself, well, okay, why is that? And I thought, well, actually, most teenagers are very externally focused. If you think about it, they're into their mobile phones. If their parents have bought them one, not a good move, but in my book anyway, not for me. Then they're into computer games, or they're just into computers, or they're into the next best set of trainers. They're very outward. Which isn't necessarily a good thing, but when it's in a direction which is actually disconnecting them further, then obviously it's not beneficial. So initially it felt like she had the irritation because it was spiritually calling her to align, and she wasn't very happy about that because on one level she was realising she was going to have to let go of a few attachments to certain things she had in her life. But once she made that shift, and it obviously happened very quickly because over a 24-hour period, then the next day she was feeling like, oh yeah, this is really good for me, so I want some more. So it was very interesting because yeah, you get that strong reaction, but then the body gets aligned, gets attuned, and then goes, oh yeah, actually this is something which is useful.
Yeah, it's a really useful tool, I found, and other people that I've spoke to that have been using the CD as well, I've just found how it can bring up things, usually during meditation actually, so you listen to it and it will stir things up, if you like, a little bit like a yoga class will, but then just sitting and meditating at the end, and the thoughts will just bubble up, and sometimes they're really old thoughts from when I was 5 or and it's that kind of helps to piece together, because actually what we're doing here is bringing our patterns into our awareness, and then finding a way through to change those patterns. That's how we use the yoga postures as well. The habits that we get into, that we get locked into, that groove, and then finding a way to just come out of that pattern. And for me, the listening to the 111 particularly just brought things up where I could see my patterns being installed from 5 years old, and how it kept recreating over and over the years. And I've got to this age now, and just seeing, okay, well, it's time to drop that pattern now. I can actually be okay with where I'm at and not fight it or do anything with it, and just be still and okay. And then that shifts, and that's how it's worked for me. Sometimes I've found that I've just had to come away a little bit from it and just let things settle. And in them cases, you know, just going out into nature is enough.
Yeah.
Talking to you now, I'm thinking, you know, I've got a 12-year-old son.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a brilliant thing for him to,
definitely,
you know, to be able to listen to. I find using it through the night is really useful, because I have it on repeat and keep it going over and over.
Great.
And it's working on that deep level.
Yeah, people get great
amazing.
sleep on it. They get like the best night's sleep.
Yeah.
And that's another beautiful piece of feedback
Yeah.
I'm getting. Because if you think about it, if you're giving what the body already is, spiritually and physically and, you know, cosmically, when you line all of that up, all suffering, all stress, all forms of the human condition, which I call the headless chicken, which is like that disconnection from the body and breathing and emotions and body signals and the right food to eat, being grounded, being in your heart, it all just drops away. You know, to that place of connection and knowing that, feeling that. You know,
yes, so coming into the heart. I call it the heart wisdom. Coming into the heart space and just following that wisdom.
It's great. And if we're in our hearts, then we're sorting out the problem on the planet, because, you know, everyone's walking around like crazy headless chickens, you know, vanishing away. So if you've got
come back, listen to these sounds.
That's it. So if you've got a
breathing,
good tool that bypasses, what I love about sound is it bypasses the politics of the mind. So when the mind's,
the mind can't argue.
No, exactly. When the body gets it, the mind goes, oh, all right then.
The body gets it straight away as well. Yes.
Yeah. So check out video 2 on our YouTube channel, coming very soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Andrea and Eeshi-Ra. And our websites are
infinitespace.com, INFIN, the number 8, and then SPACE, infinitespace.com.
And I'm UniPhi.me. That's uni as in universal, phi as in phi ratio, that's PHI, UniPhi.me. Check us out. Thanks for joining us.